welcome to the program talk of RMBI. I'm Jean. I'm the program UG coordinator. Okay, so in about 20 to 25 minutes, I will briefly introduce what RMBI is about and what type of courses and we offer to our students and what type of activities, and then a career perspective to our students. Oh, sorry. Okay, wrong button. Okay, so first of all, RMBI is a joint school program, and that is and it is the only program in HKUST actually jointly hosted by supported by three schools. So we have one is business management, and one is science school, and then it's engineering school. So basically saying that we our courses, our curriculum actually cover some of the core courses and subjects from the three schools. Okay, and then in terms of our faculties, so we have one program director from ISOM from business school, and two co-directors. One is from engineering school, one is from science school, and myself is from business school. And we also have a lot of affiliated faculties from different departments. So all the faculties together here, we kind of trying to offer a unique and very special learning experience to our students. And so you can see that our courses will cover quite a lot of currently 20 subjects. So we have courses talking about quantitative analysis from in finance modeling, and then we also have like data mining, AI courses from CS, from computer science, and we also cover a lot of like derivatives, securities, as well as investment courses from finance departments. Okay, so in terms of our course class profile, our program is very small. Because it's not a traditional subject, like I mentioned, it's a subject that hosted by three schools, so we cannot offer very big capacity. So our capacity is around 40 to 45 students per year. And then, so if you're looking at our class size, year one is a little bit small because we take around half of the class, half of the quota goes year one, so students directly enter UST into our RMBI program, but we also leave half of the quota for year two intake. So we also have students after entering like a general, not a particular program, but into a school in UST. So for example, science school, engineering school, and business school, they have the chance by the end of year one, they choose their own major, so that we also leave half of the quota for those students that they can also choose our RMBI. And then in terms of the nationality of our program, we have around 2/3 of students from local, and 1/3 is non-local, including mainland students as well as international students. So our international students mostly are from East Asia. So we have Indian students and have Korean students as well as Indonesia, Malaysia. Okay, and then in terms of curriculum, in terms of the things that you're gonna learn in 4 years in RMBI, total number of credits 120. That's actually universal-wise, university requirements. Every program in UST, if you want to graduate in 4 years, you have to get 120 credits in total. And then, so out of that 120, there's certain credits should goes to the language as well as Common Core courses. And then majority or half of the credits goes to the program major requirements. Okay, and then we also offer electives for students to choose the courses according to their interests. And we also offer one particular concentration, we would say, that's a fintech concentration. So our students, if they are interested on the finance technology, we have some elective courses, especially in this area, so that students can take like 9 credits on the fintech courses. So eventually they get a fintech option, so that besides they get the normal transcript and degree, and then on top of the transcript and degree, there is a subtitle saying that the students also obtain fintech option from the program. Okay, so another thing that very special to RMBI, whether special in RMBI, is that starting from this year, we offer something called 4+1 pathway. And 4+1 pathway is some of the students, after they graduate in 4 years, so after they study, spend time in school in 4 years, they feel that some of them feel that may not be enough. So they have a particular passion on fintech, and then they want to dig out, they want to explore more. And so we have heard students in the past that they want to take masters as well. So that we offer this kind of special arrangement, 4+1. We have limited the quota that some students can do 5 years to get 2 degrees. So 1 degree in Bachelor of Science in RMBI, another degree will be Master of Science in FinTech. So it's so-called 4+1, and give our students some flexibility, especially in year 4. They can start to take some master courses. Okay, but this is a very special arrangement, and the quota is definitely limited. But that's nevertheless to say that's a very good opportunities for provide to RMBI students. And then eventually we have another one special uniqueness or highlights of the program is in year 4 we have 2 courses. One whole year, students spend a whole year to do a capstone project, and the project is not some research like a toy experiment or some research paper, but instead all our projects are actually coming from our corporate partners. So either they have somehow tackled they have somehow encountered some problems in their business operations, or maybe they want to explore the latest technologies, whether it's feasible to apply to their business or not. So they will propose the topic, and our students form group, and then go to on-site to regularly meet with the corporate partners to get their requirements, get their needs, and then come back to the school to discuss with the faculties, with the professors, and then try to deliver a solution to the company. So quite often I tell my students that this is kind of like a mini consultancy projects. So our students are like consultants, and then they try to help their clients. The so-called clients is the corporate partners, to help them solve some problems or help them to improve their efficiency or whatever a pain point that they encountered in their business operations. Okay, so that's somehow the general pictures of the big pictures of what type of type of category of courses and credits that students need to take. And then in outside classroom, we also offer a lot of extracurricular activities to our students. Now, one thing is that I keep talking about the special arrangement of RMBI, because our program is really unique in nature. So we joined hosted by 3 schools. So which means our students actually have a chance to choose which school that you go to exchange. Okay, and why we are saying this is because so the exchange program is actually a mutual program that one sister universities, they sign agreements with UST so that they can send their students to our university, and our university can send students to their university, right? But very often, the agreement is between schools. So that from business school, we may have a set of assistant universities with the agreements, and then engineering school, and then science school. So very likely that this is 3 sets of sister universities, they're not overlapping. So that in terms of choosing which universities you want to go to, I would say that RMBI students has a little bit advantage that they can actually got more choices. You can choose either to go on exchange through a business school or through engineering school or science school. Even though currently we don't have a physical exchange, unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, last 2 years, we don't have any physical exchange, but now we actually have some virtual exchange going on in the university, so that, just like this year, starting from this year, USC's courses are most of them are physical, but last 2 years, we have a lot of courses online, and so as the other universities. So we have this kind of so-called virtual exchange program, so that students actually can sitting at their home and then taking courses from like US, from Canada, from different sister schools, so virtually. Okay, so that's an exchange. And then we also have symposium, annual symposium, which is we invite some top-notch executives and professionals from the industry and come to give us, to share their experience as well as outlook and of the industry, of the of the business, what's going on right there out there. Okay, and another activity that I really recommend our students to join is the mentorship. So starting from year one, our students each year they get different type of mentors. So year one, our students will be paired with senior students. So senior students will be the peer mentors, and then so-called guide them through the transition period from the high school to universities. And then second year we have alumni, and we invite alumni to be the mentors, so that could guide the students to provide their experience and sharing on how students can prepare themselves on the choices of courses, how to choose electives, and then how to prepare themselves, prepare their CVs for the job interviews as well as internships. And then year three, we have industrial mentors. That's professionals and executives. Those are the real field players. They are out there right now doing excel in a certain type of business or job titles. So they come back to schools to meet with our students to share their experience as well as again outlooks. So give suggestions to students how to prepare themselves for the future workplace. Okay, and then lastly, we have lots of students. It's kind of like a culture in UST as well as in RMBI or even in business school that UST students really like to do internships. So we have a lot of students having summer internships, and some of them even got winter internships. So in UST, our winter break is around 2 months. So students also be able to find some internship during the winter break as well. So according to the statistic we collected, around 90% of the students, when they graduate in year 4, around 90%, above 90% of our students all got internship experience. And all of them are feedback that the comments is that, okay, once they have the internship experience, they give them somehow kind of exposure, not academically, right, but somehow give them open their eyes on how really people work, communicate in workplace, and what talents, what type of skills that the employees and the companies are looking for, so that they can come back to school better prepare themselves. Okay, and then so besides those, we also every single semester we also offer a lot of different kinds of like social events, career talks, trainings, and seminars, etc. So that within RMBI, our students have kind of like a special bonding that because we are very small, right? Students often know each other, and then they also have a very close relationship with me as well as the program office, so that kind of like we have an RMBI community as well. Okay, so that's something that outside the classrooms. Okay, so in terms of the career perspective, and we have the latest data from last year. So if you're looking at the pie on the left, so the pie chart is what type of industry or sectors that our students after graduate, what type of jobs they get. So you can see that 56 of them go to banking, and then 90% accounting, 30% finance, investment. So from this pie chart, you can see most of them, majority go to the banking industry. And this is only 60%, I would say. Last year, because of the pandemic, job market is not that booming. So that quite of our students actually go to pursue the master studies or higher degree studies. So this pie chart is only around 60% of those students who find a job. And most of them go to banking industry, but another 40% actually pursue the masters. Some of them choose to study a master in UST, and some of them choose to go like a PhD and MPhil, and some of them went UK, etc. Okay, and then on the right, you will see the graduate placements. Those are the not from last year, but over the years we have students go to different like top tier investment banks as well as global banks, and we also have students go to like technical companies to do So like traditional technical companies like Tencent, Alibaba, we also have students go to consultancy firms to be the technical consultancy, etc. Okay, so in terms of the career, in terms of the categories, in terms of the directions, in terms of the coverage of the career, potential career, future career potentials, our students actually, it's not that limited to one subject or not limited to one type of job, but it's kind of varies, is diversified. So we do have students go to top tier banks. We also have students like open up their own business. We also have students go to startup companies. So it's kind of like very diversified. Okay, and then and I think most of you today come here, you are currently in high school, right? So there are actually two ways for you to enter RMBI. The first one is, of course, you directly apply through the program-based admission. When you do the JUPAS, and you put down your JUPAS like choices, you put RMBI as one of the choice, and then if we admit you, then you come to year one RMBI, so it becomes an RMBI student right away. So there's another choices I mentioned before, is that we also have half of the quota to take students through school-based admission. So if you like UST very much, and then you can actually choose to come to, but you haven't decided what your major, what you're really interested, which major that you're really interested. Then another choice for you is that you can choose school first. So you can go to UST's business school or science school, engineering school, and study 1 year. Try to explore your interest. Try to do some to do more searching, and then to take more courses, so that you get a better understanding about yourself and about the subjects as well. Then by the end of year one, we have a major selection exercise, so that students from the 3 schools, actually from all schools of UST, they can apply for RMBI as well. Okay, so that's program-based admission as well as school-based admission. And then for program-based admission, and for those students directly enter RMBI program, there's again 2 pathways. One is through the direct entry. So those are for the students, non-JUPAS students. So students take IB or GCEAL, and SAT, JEE. Those are direct entry. And then we also have JUPAS admission code. So the JUPAS admission code, so that's part of the JUPAS, the whole JUPAS system. And then we have a particular formula to calculate the different subjects and give weightings, and then all the statistics and past data can be found on the JUPAS website as well as our university admission websites. Okay, so for the major selection, that's what I said. We have 3 schools come to the program. Okay, so lastly, this picture, I like this very much, and this is one of our social events. It's the mentor dinner. So we have students. It's a mentor dinner. It's a 10th anniversary reunion. So we invite our current students, alumni, and as well as corporate partners to have to got a big event, and everybody's happy. You can see that. So and lastly, in summary about our program. So our program and the specialty of our program, or the courses we cover, as well as the learning experience we cover, we try to give students to teach students the technology knowledge. So we have CS courses, we have math courses, we have those business core courses, as well as besides the technical technology. We also want to teach students quantitative skills, so that students can apply the quantitative analysis skills into different data sets, different scenarios to solve different kinds of problems. And also because our subject, so our curriculum covers from business to math to computer technologies. So our students kind of like crossing domains. So they have the business senses, as well as how they got this business senses, understanding of how business should working, and then what is the normal business process, operation, etc. And then they got the sense of risk management, because to be frank, when you're running a business, you're actually taking risk. So, and our curriculum also give our students exposure on how to well prepared for those uncertainties, and lastly, through the capstone projects as well as a lot of other activities, then we hopefully to give our students the chances to practice their problem solving skills. So lastly, so if I use one sentence to summary, then our RMBI program is trying to bridge the gap between the business applications and the technical know-how. So we really hope that you will be able to become one member of the big family, and we may meet you again maybe in the next year's interview. Okay, so I think that's all for my talk so far. Okay, you guys have any questions? Yeah, please feel free to type in any questions about the program, admissions, campus life, etc. Okay, so we also have some Q&A time left at the end, so you can also ask questions there. And then also there's one question. Oh yeah, there's so any. Okay, so there's one question. I take one question. The question might be silly. What is risk management? Okay, what is risk management? Now, risky. So it's not silly, but I mean the question is a little bit difficult to answer in a very short time. Okay, so it's a very big scope. Now, risk management is about first of all, you identify what could happen, what could go wrong. So let's say if we're doing business, you're running a business, you're running a restaurant, you're running whatever. You have a manufacturer, etc. So while you're doing the business, there's a normal business process, right? So anything could go wrong. So within that whole process, within that whole procedure, anything could go wrong. So risk management, one thing is that we need to understand about the business, and then we need to prepare ourselves, or we need to identify where it could go wrong and how it could go wrong, and also how often it could go wrong, and if it goes wrong, how bad it could be. So those kind of things we need to identify. Once we identify them, and so we do kind of like analyze either qualitatively or quantitatively, and then we want to prepare ourselves. What if it really goes wrong, then what we should do? If it goes wrong like this, so if it happens like this, then what we should do? If it happens like that, what we should do? And we can do quantitative analysis as well. So what if we take this project, we take this option, what is the worst case can be? We lose 10 million. And then if it's really that case, then how we should get ourselves out of it. So those kind of, I mean, in general, so we identify, we analyze, and then we mitigate, we treat the risk. So that's somehow, so did I answer your question? Okay. Okay, so that's also happens in your daily lives as well. So for example, you take you choose elective courses. I often use this example for our students. You choose elective courses, it could go wrong that you get an F. Eventually, you're not good at that course, and then you get F. That's an uncertainty there, right? And then that negative outcome, you don't want it. And then you identify what could be the negative outcomes, and then how likely it could be, and then you think of some way to reduce the likelihood or reduce the negativity or reduce or maybe totally avoid the outcome. Okay. Can we take the extended measure in RMBI? So there's another question. I'm not sure what you mean by extended measure. In UST, we have this flexibility to allow students to take one major, to take double majors. So you have one major, you come to a program, you got your first major, and then you can apply for a second major. Now, but of course you need to get approval from both majors. So let's say RMBI students, and they're really interested on computer science technologies, and then those are technical stuff. So we do have students that taking one RMBI as first major and then apply for CSE as second major, and the other way around. So that's universally durable for all students in UST. One question, do you have to be 18? No, you don't. We have students under 18. Okay, but I didn't do a statistic. What is the youngest age? But definitely it could be under 18. So no worries. And no such rule for university as well. I don't think UST has a rule saying that the student has to be over 18 to be a university student. And special weighting about the subjects. Ocean, I see your question, and I do think so. So because I don't want to mislead you. So I don't want to answer exactly number here because I'm afraid that I may make a mistake. But what you can do is that you can go to check out our JUPAS. So in UST, we have a JUPAS, you have admission websites listed very detailed on each subject, which program takes how many weightings. So I think the formula is also in this slide. Okay, so what are the weighting? Yeah. So Helen, if this table cannot answer your question, then we may have our program officer that answer your question later. Okay. So if you see my slides, current slides, if you had taken M1, M2, the score will be yes. Thank you, Colin. And then do we have to be really good in math and computer coding? I'm not good at math and coding. Okay, that's a good question. Do we have to be exactly? You don't have to be, because our now our courses, like I mentioned, we have 1/3 of courses from math and 1/3 from CS and 1/3 from business. And we do have students actually, once they come to RMBI, taking several like CS courses and math courses, they feel that their technical skill is not that strong, and that also is not their passion. Because we also have 1/3 of courses from business. So we do have students actually, after they graduate, they don't land in a risk management job or maybe a data analyst. We do have students go to other area as well. We have students go to like marketing, like management trainee. And to be honest, nowadays a lot of employees, when they try to looking for fresh graduates to hire, they are not limited what type of major you are in. Okay, of course the major shows you some strengths, but most likely I think you need to build up your own like unique. While you are in university, not only to RMBI, whatever program you go to, eventually you need to do some self-exploration, try to find out what you're really passionate about, what you're really interested. Okay, so those are inner drive, those are inner motivations will drive you to the next level, so that you can actually make you stand out of the crowd when you go to the interview, when you go to the job interview, when you go to internship interview. To be frank, a lot of interviews nowadays, when you want to have exchange, you need to go to interview. When you want to find an internship, you need to go to interview. When you go find a job, you need to go to interview. While you're doing interview, so even you come to our program, JUPAS, you need to come to university, you have to go through interviews, right? So while you're going the interviews, you need to like demonstrate, show you the uniqueness, the highlights about you. So what is you? What makes you special? What makes you, where is your strengths? So as long as you find your passion and find, so while you're in university, you try to like sharpen your skills and then try to explore more, then it won't be, I mean, it won't be difficult to find a job, and then you will be successful in any kind of like subjects. Okay, so okay, and sorry, Carmen, can you make Jessica as co-host? Jessica can answer the question.
Yes, I am a co-host.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Well, I just want to quickly address the question about the extended major. Jean just mentioned that RMBI is a pretty rigorous curriculum. So students actually have pretty, very packed curriculum that you have to study science, engineering, business, so that you can have a very comprehensive understanding about the RMBI. That's why for joint school program like the RMBI, I'm afraid that students would not have much room to take the extended major. But one of the extended major the university offers is the artificial intelligence, which is, I believe, it's pretty close and closely related to the RMBI program itself. So students or RMBI students will not be able to take the extended major, but if students who wish to explore, the another extended major that the university is offering is digital media and creative arts. So if you are interested in arts, in like digital media application, then you may use your free elective credits to take those classes from the humanities department. So I'll pass the time back to Jin. Hopefully that will help address the extended major question.
Oh, okay. So I thought it's the second major. Okay, I got it. So extended is the X plus AI, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So unfortunately, RMBI does not join that scheme because like Jessica mentioned, our curriculum actually overlaps a little bit with the extended major AI, because in our curriculum we also have the flexibility for students to choose machine learning, AI, and those kind of hardcore and AI courses. So far, currently, we haven't we didn't join that scheme. Okay, I will answer one last question, and then we'll pass to we have also another current student who want to share his experience and while he's doing RMBI in here. So one last question is, what's the difference between your program, the data science program offered by the faculty science? As far as I know, there is a data analytic program across science school and engineering school. So that's co-hosted by math department and CS department, computer science department. So I would say that you can see the trend. Now RMBI is actually the first one that co-hosted by 3 schools. Okay, our RMBI has got like 10, 11, 12 years history here. We are the pioneer. We set up this kind of a special program across different domain, and turn out it's a very good idea because our students got different kinds of exposure from different schools, and then gradually following the I'm not saying following the RMBI's path, but you can see that the trends here is now universities would like to offer more those kind of interdisciplinary programs and courses. So the idea of like the data analytical programs between math and science, math and engineering, as well as the X plus AI, is all going to the same direction. So currently our students, I would say that the reason why the university goes to the direction, one side is of course for the benefits of our students to get more exposure. Another reason is because of we see that employers nowadays, they are looking for talents that cross domain. So when they're trying to hire graduates, when they're trying to hire employers, so what they're looking for, they want someone who understands the business, who have the business domain knowledge. At the same time, they have this kind of like quantitative, qualitative programming solving skills, so they can be practical, so apply those things they learn in school, in the textbooks, to a real business situation. So if you ask me, I would say that RMBI, again, I'm keep kind of like selling. Our special thing here is because 3 schools, we also have the business elements, so that students actually, through those business courses, they practice their communication skills, because a lot of business school courses, the assignment is doing project, doing presentation. And to be frankly, not that case in engineering school and science school, because a lot of projects they are doing coding and then writing papers. But for business school students, one huge like advantage is that they can talk, they can present, they can clearly express their ideas, and they're not afraid to express their ideas. Okay, so that also is one thing that the employees currently looking for. So I would say, I don't want to sound too hard sell, but the business components is very essential as well, besides the technical parts. Okay, so I take too much time, I'm sorry. And then, yeah, let's pass time to the Thomas, and then when Thomas finished, we still have maybe 10 more minutes to answer your questions. Okay, okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing.
Thank you. So, hello, my name is Thomas.
Thomas, you can share the slides.
Yes, I will. Let me do that. Okay. So you guys see the slides? Okay, brilliant. Let's go. Okay, so good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. So my name is Thomas, and I'm currently a senior student or in my final year in the RMBI program. So let's jump into my presentation. A little bit about me. So I was born and raised in Hong Kong. I graduated from a local secondary school in 2018. Where I studied science, which is physics, chemistry, and biology, and nothing to do with business or risk management or business intelligence or computer science in general. Though I did study M1. On the right-hand side of the slide, you could see during my graduation day of my high school, that's a picture taken with my high school class teacher then. So after high school, I was admitted to the RMBI program via the program-based track, which means that from year one onwards, I was already in the RMBI program after completing my DSEs. So now I'm in my final years of study. So Professor Wang has just talked a lot about the academical side, the job opportunity side. So my presentation or my sharing of sorts is more about what you would intend, what you could potentially experience in the course of these 3 to 5 years, depending on whether you would defer or whether you would quicken up your pace of your studying. So I'll first talk about the university life outside of academics. So I would say that there are 3 main types of things that you would do. Of course, Professor Wang talked a lot about exchange, about going to other universities. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic situation, I haven't really been able to go on a proper exchange. However, I did grab the opportunity during my the summer of my year 1 studies to go on a 1-month exchange with Warsaw School of Economics, which is one of the leading schools in Eastern Europe. And we did a tour around all of Europe as well as in Hong Kong, and then they came to Hong Kong as well. And this, on the leftmost picture, is a photo taken in Prague during my summer exchange to Poland. So that is one thing that you would expect. Of course, you would also have a lot of virtual exchanges. I did one with Sun Yat-sen University in China and also with Tsinghua in my year 2 and year 3 respectively. So that is exchange. You also have sports, and sports is a great thing. If you've ever came to the UST campus, you would see that there is a really nice view outside, and there's the sea in the harbor, and really nice scenery. And we intend to take advantage of that by having a lot of water sports. So this is actually one of the pictures I took a couple months ago, really, when I joined on their dinghy sailing course, and the guy who's waving his hand is actually me. So you would also expect a lot of sports, a lot of physical activities if you enjoy that sort of thing during campus life. And of course, there's a lot of activities as well. So on the rightmost picture, you would see me in my year 1 studies. I was part of Modern United Nations, and we had this debate about the immigration, the immigrant crises, and I was representing Finland. I don't know why I was laughing so hard then, but it was really fun. So we'd also expect that out of your academics, you would have a lot of other activities. Modern United Nations being one of them. You would also maybe have a lot of other student organizations. If you like to party, there are organizations for you. If you like to, I don't know, there are a lot of different interest groups. I even heard that there was an anime interest group. There was, of course, there are sports team as well. So there are a plethora of organizations that you could join in. And if it doesn't exist yet, you could be the person to found that organization. And as far as I know, the university also provides a lot of support if you want to establish your own interest group in that regard. So that is also a big thing in UST activities. So after talking about like the fun stuff, I mean, the career stuff is also kind of fun. You would have a lot of career talks. You would have seminars, symposiums, workshops, internships. So in the left picture, you would see me when I was the MC of the RMBI symposium, which was in May this year. I think it was May or April, I forgot. So it's just basically like what Professor Huang has just said. We invited a couple of really high-level executives in the risk management field, and then we talked a lot about the emerging trends of the risk management industry, as well as other industrial information side of things. It is intended for students and professionals, maybe newly graduates as well, to understand more about the risk management market, understand the trends, and also aid in their career side of things. Another big thing is obviously internships. On the top picture is when I interned with Bloomberg, which is one of the financial information company. So that's just one of the pictures I took during one of the days there. So it was really fun because you get to apply what you've learned in school into a real world practice. So you would really see how what you learned is applicable to the real world, and you would also be able to drive a little bit of impact, no matter how small. So maybe it is about doing some small changes in the team. Maybe you'll be helping people with projects. Maybe you would even have a project on your own, which would help the business as well. So you would be given a lot of responsibility. And I think that is also incredibly fun and a way to get a taste of what would happen after all these 4 years when you finally go into the job market. Now, I've talked about stuff that is outside of Korea, outside of academics. Just talk a little bit more about stuff, and then I talk a little bit about Korea stuff, and just a few cents. I don't really have a lot to talk about at this moment because I was intending that you would ask me a lot more questions about my experience. But if I were given the opportunity to give you a few cents about this whole university admissions thing, after all, I have been part of it as well, is that you should try to find a subject that you're passionate about. So you shouldn't say that, okay, because my parents, or there is a certain expectation that I do something that I will study in that subject, if that makes any sense. I would rather hope that when you make a decision, you study a subject that you're passionate about, study a subject that you can see a future in your a future for yourself in that industry, and that is also something very important, because if you study a subject that is not because of yourself, but because of other people, it's going to be really tough. And trust me, I've seen some of my friends who fell into that bunch, and it didn't go very well for them. So it's really important that you love what you're studying, and I do love risk management. Second of all is that you need to be proactive. University life is a lot different from high school. So there isn't always a teacher that you could go and ask for advice. There's not always someone who would spoon feed you. Step one, you're going to do this. Step two, you're going to do this. It's more about finding who you are. So you need to be proactive. You need to ask more people if you don't understand things. You need to talk with more people. And especially in a business context, we call that networking, which is basically just talking with different people, industry professionals, to understand what they're doing, and then understand if that is something that you want to do yourself. And finally, my last advice is that time is short. 4 years could go like a bang, and like, believe me when I say that. It was like yesterday when I sat in that lecture hall, I said where you are sitting right now, and I listened to this guy babble about how RMBI is really good, and turns out I did join RMBI. So time is really short. Now I'm in year 4. So it's very important that you don't make studying a chore. to enjoy every single moment of it, other than focusing all your time and energy and getting good grades. That's important, of course. But what's also very important is that you enjoy your time at UST. Okay, so I am finishing ahead of schedule. So I hope that you would be able to use this time to ask me some questions or ask any of us here any questions about RMBI in general. Okay, so thank you so much for listening.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. By the way, did you attend like a similar talk?
I did.
So it's done by me again?
I forgot already. It was like yesterday, but I forgot already.
Because I don't know whether I'm sound too hard selling. Anyway.
Oh, so, no, it's not. It's okay.
Let's open up the schedule again. So anyone, you're free. Yeah, free to continue with our flow. Because before Thomas talk, I think our Q&A session went very well. We got a lot of students tap in questions in the chat. So you guys still have any questions? Then you can keep it coming. Okay, so probably we can answer several. Okay, one thing that I get to be asked is, or maybe one thing that I think you guys are having in concern is that UST is kind of like stress and tension. Does anybody have that wonder in your mind? So maybe Thomas, you've been in UST for 4 years, right? 3 years. Yeah, so it's really tense. I mean, very like stressful.
you won't know how many times I've answered that same question. Okay, I would say this. University of Stress and Tension is a nickname that we created for university. Not because of anything, but basically it's because sometimes when we compare ourselves with other universities, our students are more aggressive in many ways. That could be a good thing. That could also be a bad thing depending on where you stand. If you want to be part of people who are more motivated, I'm not trying to sound too hard sell here. It's a great place for you to be if you want to surround yourself with people who really want to do well in your careers. You'd also be able to meet top-notch people here. Of course, like for me, I think a large part of that stress and tension is self-induced rather than from courses, because you surround yourself with a peer group of people who are all very kind of aggressive. They want to do the best for themselves. So I think if you are able to manage that, it's a brilliant place to be. Like I said, when I concluded my presentation earlier, I said it's very important that you enjoy your university life as well as focus on your career. So I said that because while stress and tension might be a thing, I think it's also very important that you try to enjoy yourself and engage in more in your life outside of studies. So yeah, stress and tension is a thing or is not a thing, depending on your time management skills, on maybe your peer group, on what you want for yourself. Obviously, if you want, the more you want for yourself, the more hardworking you're going to be, and I think that's a great thing as well. Yeah, I hope I've answered that question.
Okay, so two more questions about interviews. So one student asking about whether we have interview. Yes, we do. For JUPAS students, we do have a group interview. So but we have a bar. So we kind of like based on the predicted score, and we set a bar. So if the students meet our basic requirements, then we will invite students to come to do the interview. And it's in a group setting, 5 to 6 students per group. Okay, and then there's another question from Sahan saying how to perform well for the interview for RMBI. I don't know. I don't have very systematic metrics. But by the way, I will be sitting in the interview, all interview sessions, so that you are definitely going to see me next year if you apply for RMBI. In terms of the interview, I don't have a systematic matrix, okay? But somehow, if you stand in my shoe, I interview a lot of students every year. Like so 6 group comes in, 6 students in a group comes in, and I interview around like 10 groups per day, and then we do like several days. So if you put yourself in my shoe, you can think about, I scan a lot of profiles and I see a lot of faces, and then some of them will leave impression, but some of them, to be frank, when they get left the room, I kind of like, after like, so maybe once they leave the room, I still have a little bit of impression, but after several rounds, after half hour, after 1 hour, or after half a day, some of the faces kind of like become vague. Okay, so that if you really want to like stand out, then you need to give us something uniqueness about you. So either not necessarily to be grades. So we're not looking for, because once we invite you to the interview, eventually every student, you have a JUPAS score. So that kind of like taking into consideration as well. It has been already taken into consideration. So the reason why we ask the students to come to interview is because we want to meet you, to see who you are, to hear your story. So it's a very good chance for you to like show us your real personality as well as your uniqueness, so that you can leave good, not less a good, you leave impression, and then kind of like increase your chances to get in. I'm not sure whether I answer your question. So try to find your highlights. Okay, one thing I can actually spoil the fun. One thing I really not that impressive is students tell me the reason why I choose RMBI is because I'm good at math, and I'm good at business courses. So I want to like, because I'm good at math, so I think I can do RMBI. That's something like 9 out of 10 students will tell me the same thing. So it won't leave any like deeper impression. Okay, so try to give us like, show us who you really are and you're passionate about. Okay. Will the interview be online? We are not sure, but this year, currently for 2021, the interview is still online, but next year, probably, I think we can do physical if the things like pandemic does not get worse. Because now university, our whole UST, all the courses are actually a physical now. So we do offer hybrid sessions. So our teachers will go to classrooms and local students go to classroom. We do have some non-local students cannot come, so that we kind of like live streaming what the teacher is talking about on the stage, and then those students, online students, they kind of attend the room, but most of the students are sitting in the classrooms. Interview format. Okay, interview format, there will be like I said, 6 students in a group, and then self-introduction. That's normal. That's typical. And then we will sometimes I will throw a group discussion questions, ask the students in the group to discuss, or sometimes I just particularly direct the question to one. So it's kind of like a free flow, because I don't have a particular format. It depends on what I'm thinking about and what's happening right there. And then sometimes I just come up with a question right on the spot. If you're Russia, oh, nice, you're Russia, then if you are students outside Hong Kong, I think you are gonna go through our systems, through a non-JUPAS system. So not a typical local students, not a path for the local students to come to the universities. So for those students take IB curriculums as well as GCEL non-local curriculums, we offer direct entry interview, and then direct entry interview will be one-to-one. I mean, individual interviews, not group interviews, because of those non-local students, we are not be able to group them in one common time slot. It will be interviews after the DSE result is released. As far as I know, we will hold 2 rounds of interview. The first round is you haven't get the results, and according to the current band choices, then we choose students to come to we invite students to come to interview. Then after the results is released, I think you guys have one chance to reprioritize your choices. After the reprioritization, we were gonna take a look on whether any students have put us in the band A, but we haven't interviewed before, then we can offer them another chance. But everyone only be interviewed once. Did that answer your question? Yeah. for individual, for the IB mean score, I don't have the results right now on my hand, but I think that kind of could be checked in the school level or university level about the IB mean score we take in, but very limited because we don't take many IB students. Our main quota is still goes to JUPAS. Okay, and then for the individual meeting interviews, it's more or less like group, but it's a self-introduction, and then I ask questions and answers, so around like 15 minutes or so. No particular formats. Okay, again, no, sometimes depends on what you put in your CV, put in your profile. I just pick up something right away to ask. Okay, I think time is up, and then you guys have other sessions to go through, so so hopefully you enjoy the session today, and me and Thomas and our program teams, and we do hope to see you again.